Good morning, friends. Today we'll discuss the model number 4, technology forecasting, part 1. The technology forecasting. So, what do you mean by this? It is a planning tool or a technique applied to predict the following things: the potential direction at which technology change is taking place, the rate of technology advance, and last one, the effects of technological change on process, products, market, society, etc. When possible, the prediction will be quantified, made through specific logic, and will estimate the timing and degree of change in technological parameters, attributes, and capabilities. You can take an example for this: the speed of modified military aircraft, the power in watts of the particular future engine, the accuracy or precision of measuring instrument, the number of products that could be manufactured in the current year, and so on. This is the one simple example it is. The next is what are the reasons and why it is need for the technology forecasting. There are some important few reasons are there. These are the following are the importance. The first one, increased competition in the global market for innovative and cost competitive products. The survival, growth, and profitability of companies need to protect future technological changes in order to create a solid and sustainable technological base that can withstand or adapt to rapidly changing market requirements. Identify suitable technologies by evaluating various alternatives. To provide suggestion for the future research, so that is R&D projects. To invest scarce funds in engineering emerging technologies. To analyze the effect of technology on the socio-economic aspect of the society. So these are the reasons or need for the technology forecasting. So next, so what is the role of a technology forecasting, or what are the benefits of technology forecasting? The purpose of technology forecast is to aid in a decision making. The forecast may be valuable if it leads to more informed and possibly a better decision. So these are the some roles. Identify the limits beyond which it is not possible to plan. Establish a feasible rate of progress so that plan can be chosen from. Describe the available alternatives and which can be chosen from. Provide a reference standard for a plan. Indicate possibilities that might be achieved if desired. Furnish warning signals which can alert the decision maker regarding the impossibility to continue present activities. Okay, so these are the main roles of technology forecasting. If you go through these, so you can understand how we can make a proper forecasting. So next, what are the elements of technology forecasting? So there are 4 elements are there. There are time period, qualitative, quantitative, probability of occurrence. What is the time period? It deals with the resource time relationship and may be stated generally or given precisely. Next, qualitative. It attempts to identify the factors that are likely to change the activities or technology trends in areas of interest to the forecaster. Quantitative. It attempts to measure quantitatively and assess the level of performance of various technologies. The next one, the probability of occurrence. It attempts to predict different alternatives and its confidence level, like as high or a low. So this is what the probability, and these are the main elements of technology forecasting. Then what do you mean by technological change? The next topic is the technological change. Technological change can be defined as an increase in the efficiency of a physical process, product, materials, machinery or equipment, which results in an increase in the output without an increase in the input. Okay, so what it says, increase in the efficiency of physical process, product, materials. Okay, so without increase in the input, so you can have a increase in the output here. For example, a telephone that has undergone many technological changes since its inception for better, efficient and reliable mode of communication. Okay, so as you have experienced this, advanced cutting tools that permits to more parts in an hour of a work. So that also you know that conventional machine to special machines like CNC machine and all. Automation that allows companies to produce more products, services with respect to unit input. Okay, so everywhere, so now we can find the automation even in a small industries in some extent, so they have adopted automation. Next, system tools that help people to create, manage and share knowledge such as the internet. Okay, so this is what the technology change. So next we have a integration, technological product innovation and product development within enterprises. The innovation refers to the creation or developing a new idea for the realization or development of new product or a service. Product innovation destroys existing products by creating a new ones that are not available in the present market. Companies tend to add innovation to their new products in order to attract more customers, increase their profits and have competitive edge over other companies. For this, so we need a product innovation. Okay, so the product innovation, so whatever you get the new product, so it can destroy the existing product, and also so we can have the more benefits, and also you can compete with the other companies also. There are three aspects have significant influence on the value of a new product as follows. So the first one is a human aspects. So what do you mean by this human aspects here? So this is the first one important. Successful innovation maximize the user appreciation of the product offered. Understanding and treating the human interest is a key to define your design drivers. So without considering the human beings, so your innovation product will be the zero value. Okay, so what are their interest? So accordingly, so you have to innovate. The user function analysis, the reaction of the user on the character and usability of the product. This is the first thing you have to consider here. User function analysis, how that user is nothing but a customer here, how he is going to analyze what is his reaction accordingly, so you have to consider. Then the ergonomics, it is a simple word. The product must correspond to the physical capabilities of the user. Ergonomics is nothing but a human comfort here. Next, socioculture context of the product requires a good analysis and especially a good vision of the situation in which the user will be at the time that the new service or a product will be offered. So these are the points related to the human aspect here. Next point is the technological aspect. Technological aspects in product development are typically related to materials, design, construction optimization, physics and development of mechanical electronic systems, manufacturing and assembly technology. So technology, it is related to everything here. It may be related to design and even related to the materials, the construction of optimization, then there is a physics of that product, then development of mechanical or electronic system, manufacturing and assembly technology. So here also you can find the different technologies over here. So accordingly you want to go for the innovation, these things are to be considered. These aspects are determined by criteria such as a mechanical and thermal load, interface capabilities, limitations and compatibility of by other system, environmental impact and aging effects also. So this is what the technological aspect. And third one, economic aspects. The economic aspects include knowledge of the competition and its offer, total cost of development and other production preliminary costs, approach of the distribution, the development time, that is time to time market it is, and the price that prospective user is willing to pay for the provided product or services. Okay, so the economic aspect is also to be considered while innovation. This is also very important part, because usually as you know, the psychology of the human being, so he wants a good product in a low price. So for that purpose, economic aspect is to be considered. So in this there is a one more point, it is an integrated approach. The development of a new product is often handled as a sequential process. It is a integrated, how you are going to approach it. There is a sequential process it is to be followed. The technological aspects are usually elaborated first, then economic aspects are discussed gradually, and ultimately the human aspects get involved. Okay, so here, so we have discussed the three things. One is a technology, human aspect and economic. So first thing, there is a sequence of operation here, how it is to be handled. The first you have to concentrate on technological aspect, then the economic aspects, and are discussed gradually, and ultimately the human aspects are involved here. The fundamental issue of this approach is the priority assigned to the different aspects. The aspects that are examined first have a dominant impact on the others and finally on the end product. To maximize the innovation potential of every aspect, all three domains must be included in the development process. Each aspect is equally important, has the same added value from inventing the new product to the final launch here. Okay, so these are the three main aspects to be considered for the product innovation. So that to be within the enterprises. So next we have a methodologies and tools in a product innovation process. So what do you mean by this methodology and tools, the process? The methodologies and tools of most interest to the innovator are those that directly enable, support and direct the right methods and practices for the innovation processes. Some common tools are as follows. These are the some tools to be followed for the product innovation process. The first one is a deep dive. There are 7, the tools are here. We'll discuss one by one. Deep dive. The deep dive is a brainstorming technique it is, wherein group of people meet to generate a new ideas and solutions around a specific domain of interest. Okay, you have already decided to innovate one particular product. So first you have to go for the deep dive. So it is nothing but a brainstorming technique. It is a group of people it is. All contributions are valid, and the key to successful session is to share as many ideas as possible without evaluating them. So in this brainstorming, so we have to only collect the ideas. Here the process, we are not going to evaluate them. All the ideas are recorded and evaluated once the deep dive session is completed. After completion of this session, so it is to be evaluated. Ideas may be used independently or combined for a better cause. Deep dive provides a quick means of tapping the creativity of a limited number of people for large number of ideas. It provides a free and open environment that encourages everyone to participate. So next tool is the prototype. A prototype is an earlier sample, model or a release of a product built to test a concept or a process. The prototype, as you know, that it is a one small model it is. So and also you know that, so we are going to conduct so many tests on that. It is nothing but a replica of the main product. Prototyping is often an overlooked aspect of product innovation. It is mostly regarded as a demo like for of a future product it is. However, prototyping is a critical aspect as it helps to understand, define, refine the features and specification of future product or an idea or a concept it is. Next point is a design thinking. Design thinking draws on a logic, imagination, intuition and systematic reasoning to explore the possibilities of what could be and to create desired outcomes that benefit the end user. End user is nothing but a customer. Design thinking informs human centered innovation, which begins with the developing and understanding of customers' unarticulated needs, thereby helping the innovator to gain greater clarity to find viable, feasible, and desirable ideas. This approach tends to minimize the uncertainty and risk of innovation by using collective intelligence through series of lenses to grow their understanding of a customer's needs. So this particular design thinking, so it can minimize some uncertainty occurs during the innovation of the product here. So next we have a theory of inventive problem solving. It is nothing but a TRIZ. TRIZ is a methodology or technique for innovation that provides excellent principles or models and concrete tools for creative thinking for technology development. TRIZ is more or less similar to brainstorming. So it is like the deep dive, what we are doing, the brainstorming with a group of people. However, owing to its complexity, it can be barrier to its use and application. TRIZ requires involvement and discipline that can pay rich dividends in a novel breakthrough solutions as well as reinvigorated problem solving effort to the toughest problem. It is same as deep dive, but here the complexity can be solved in this particular technique. Open innovation next. Open innovation is an innovation technique that involves flow of ideas or knowledge within and outside the organization during the innovation process. Open to all it is, you can say, outside the organization or within the organization. Ideas are evaluated and only the best and most promising ones are selected for their development and commercialization. Under the open innovation paradigm, there is an important flow of external knowledge into the organization which turns into projects in cooperation with the external partners and causes the purchase and incorporation of external technologies. Next, we have a co-creation. Co-creation is an innovative techniques that makes use of people external to the company in the ideation phase of a new product or service development. The people involved in process may include customers, suppliers, distributors, or the general purpose population who are made aware that they are contributing towards the development of ideas and concepts. Co-creation, that is between the people involved from in the different areas, in considering the customer, supplier, distributors, and even the other general population. Then it is first they made to be aware that they are contributing some the ideas or a concept towards this. Through a series of steps, people are invited to contribute, evaluate and refine ideas and a concept here. Involving a wide assortment of consumers and stakeholders can help in consistent flow of ideas and concept that can be used for a new product process development. So last one. The last tool is the Agile innovation. Agile innovation refers to an iterative procedure. This is a iterative one. Incremental method for managing the idea related to design and build activities of engineering, information technology and other business areas that aim to provide new product or service development in highly flexible and interactive manner. The technique helps generate better ideas by involving people across the entire organization and surrounding ecosystem. Traditionally, agile methodology has been applied to the realm of software development and information technology sector. However, today its scope and use has been extended widely. Agile innovation is not limited to only innovating new offerings, but it emphasizes sustainability of a new innovation in changing environment. So this is basically for applied to software development and information technology it is. So with this I conclude my session and so we'll discuss in the other session, that is another in part 2, that is a model number 4. Thank you.